Welcome to The Business on Radio Verulam, the voice of your local business community.
Hello, it's Christmas, it's 8 p.m. and yes, welcome to The Business. I'm Trevor Merriden with the show that's essential listening for the West Herts business community. And we've got a special Christmassy edition of The Business this week. We're still a young show, but we've built up a great cast list of guests already. And while the children take their stockings, we'll be taking stock and looking back at some of the best bits of our show to date. I'm here with Roma Bhowmick and Vicky Scott, and that's probably the first time I've got both of your names right this year to date. So, Roma, Christmas, like it, loathe it? How's it for you?
Oh, I love it. Busy. Looking forward to it. It's all getting very exciting now. We know Santa's on his way, which is good fun.
How do you know Santa's on his way?
Because I follow him on that NORAD website.
Oh, do you?
So
yeah,
I know
fantastic,
he's on his way.
Oh,
Right.
We've stopped following him now. The family member that used to follow him is 14. It's sort of lost a bit of its edge somewhere, but
Yeah,
Right.
I think I need to grow up a bit.
yeah.
Right. And we should emphasise that you'll first hear this show just before Christmas. But if you're hearing it just after Christmas, we hope you enjoyed your socks and the shirt and the
woolly
things
jumper.
and the woolly jumper and all those sorts of things. But and we hope you're not fed up with the jingle bells and all that sort of stuff.
All the relatives.
Oh, yes, well, you're probably fed up with the relatives, but c'est la vie. And so we're going to have a little show today where we're just looking back at some of our best bits of the show to date, and hope you enjoy them with us. And I thought what we'd do, if it's okay with you, is just to just play a bit of fun. Sometimes we don't always get things right. We're a young show, and we just had quite a lot of fun along the way. So we just thought what we'd do is we'd just play this and so whether you remember this from the first time you heard The Business, which was way back on the 30th of September. It seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does seem like a long time ago.
I
A lot of
know.
shows since. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, I know. And we'll just experience a few of these little memories. I mean, here we are. We're all beaming at each other across the thing. We're all positive people, dear listener. The question for you, which we'd like to hear of yours, is this the light at the end of the tunnel, or is it an oncoming train? We just don't know.
So we've got Matt Bigg in the studio from the Collective Design. We're delighted to have you here, Matt, and I can see that you were delighted to be away from the Ryder Cup. I understand you've left your dad in the pub at the moment. Is that correct?
I have left him next door in the pub while I come here to have a chat. But,
By the way, I mean, we could keep the listeners updated because there is absolutely no excuse. This is an important business show. Collective, I mean, I'm sort of thinking you're some sort of free-form sort of radical group, always just turn up in jeans and things like that. I mean, but is that the truth of it? Sorry to stereotype, but is that the truth? I mean, do you want your business to be as big as it possibly can? Because a lot of people assume that when people go into business, they just want to be big. But do you want to be big, or do you just want to be profitable, or what do you want to be?
we do wear jeans, by the way. That's we're designers, so we have to wear jeans and we have to go snowboarding.
Is that the uniform?
That's the uniform.
Okay, right.
Myriad, I've forgotten your surname. How embarrassing, Myriad.
It's Myrion Anderson.
Myrion, sorry.
That's
Anderson,
all right.
you see, honestly. I'll just put my teeth back in, shall I? And you know something like this is going to get thrown at you because you're on St Albans Council. But
Here we go.
Marion.
One of the problems,
Merrick and Merrick.
You did pick
honestly.
the two weirdest names you could to come in today. it's the tongue twister business review.
Oh, I do like that jingle. It's
good.
just lovely. I think her name's Lucy, and I
come
like
on.
Lucy.
The lovely Lucy.
We're going to have to get ourselves a man to do a voiceover as well.
Just do manly jingles.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to help us single-handedly drag this area out of recession if we are in a recession. And by the way, an example of the power of social media, I've just had 2 tweets from Matt Big. One saying a massive thanks to the business for the business for letting me on their business show. Great fun. Now for the pub, he says.
Which
Will
is very
you be
exciting.
sampling the goodies as well, Roma?
Oh, no, sadly not. Although, apparently, there's a very nice dinner. It's at St Michael's Manor, so very
nice.
privileged. Our own little version of the Oscars. So...
And that was just the first episode. That's all we had time to actually put together before this show. Does that bring back some memories, ladies?
Just a bit.
Yes.
Bit embarrassing.
No, it was all part of the...
Pronounce name.
Well, I'm just a bit intrigued that you managed to not put in the clip where you could. I think you were calling me Victoria Stewart through the whole programme.
Oh, no.
Or was it Veronica Scott?
That was,
I don't remember who she was.
That's probably late.
That was in a more recent episode.
That makes it even worse.
So
doesn't it?
that was all from the first one. I basically haven't got names right. So I'm all the way through this, but that's life, I guess. I mean, should we introduce a little Christmassy element now? Because Vicky, I understand you've been down to the market.
I did. I went
Christmas
down market.
Yeah.
No, it was brilliant actually. I was thinking I've got to do a bit of Christmas shopping. I love markets anyway. So what I did was went early to the market in St Albans, which was I have to say it was a bit of a mishmash market. It was a bit of a cross between a Christmas market and a food market, which made it even better from my perspective because I love stuff and I love food too. So that was absolutely great. And in wandering around, it was before it was starting to get busy. A lot of the stallholders were still setting up. So I wandered about with my little mic and just talked to a few quite interesting diverse stallholders and had a great
diverse,
time. Managed to, make sure that they didn't lose any trade whilst they were chatting to me. So that was quite good too.
Yeah.
And it was just great to see the diversity. It was great to see that they were doing well on the whole. Yeah. And that the market was getting busier and busier as the time went on. So it was great fun, really good, and I managed to do a bit of Christmas shopping into the bargain.
So we sort of managed to still kill lots of birds with one stone. Then, so what? I mean, how was it? Was it packed? I mean, it's open every day now, isn't it? Till Christmas?
It's not actually. Well, certainly the stallholders that I talked to, that was the last time that they were going to be there. So the normal market, I think, is changing some of the dates. This was the last sort of special market, although there might be another one over.
There's a French market
is there
from
a French
the 19th
market?
to the 22nd.
Right, okay. So this wasn't that. But, I mean, it was fascinating. I mean, the lady that I spoke to, first of all, was a lady called Katerina, and she'd learnt to make jewellery relatively recently with a lady that I know very well called Rachel Jeffrey, who's based in Wheat Hampstead, who's a fabulous jeweller who runs a jewellery school. And she'd got together with some other people who'd learnt to make jewellery, and they decided they were going to give it a go as regards business. But what was fascinating about it was that, although they were selling pieces that were sort of £15-20, they'd also got items which were, I think the most expensive item on the stand was sort of £3,000.
Really?
So the idea that somebody would be walking around St Albans and would go and buy a piece of jewellery for £3,000, fantastic. And why not? I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't think I've even had 500 quid on me at any one point, really.
Well, they did
life.
take credit cards, Trevor. So it wasn't on cash.
Oh, I see.
But
right.
what
Okay.
was interesting, though, I couldn't take my marketing hat off, as I rarely can, which is one of those problems that goes with the territory.
Yeah.
I sort of said to her, the big problem that you've got is that there is no way. But put me right if I'm wrong here, Trevor, that any bloke is going to have the idea of going to a market on a Sunday morning to buy a beautiful piece of jewellery.
I'm sorry, that is an absolutely outrageous stereotype. But there is a reason why it's a stereotype. That's certainly true. Shall we have a little listen to Katharina? Did you say or
Katharina?
Right. Okay.
Doing it again.
Do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roma. Here we go.
Hello there, it's Victoria Scott. I'm in St Albans this morning at a very, very busy market. There's lots of beautiful stalls and there's lots of people buying lots of stuff. I'm here with one of the stall holders. Katerina is the name of the stand. Is that you too?
It's Katharina and Friends, and we are a group of start-up jewellers We make everything ourselves. It's all real stones and real silver. It's all handmade. Nothing's imported, and it's a jewellery gallery on the table, basically.
I've noticed that actually some of the items that you've got, I mean, they're very, very beautiful, but they're quite high priced for a sort of normal market. Do you find people don't have a worry about that these days?
Well, we have a huge price range. We have earrings from £20 right up to an 18-carat gold necklace for £2,000. So we go right across the board for every taste, and we also take on commissions.
And how is business? How is the market busy this year?
This is the first time we've done it. We've started this stall in September, so this is our 5th one now, and we're selling luxury items.
Yes.
You know, and people are holding on to their cash. So it's obviously, we're feeling the pinch of the recession like everybody else. And jewellery's expensive if you make it, and you pay English prices for your materials. So you pay English prices for your silver and your stones. So of course that's reflected in the mid costs.
But on the other hand, what you get is something that's unique. And
yes, most of them are one-off pieces.
But in terms of that sort of price point, do you find that people will, if they do want something that's so very beautiful, pay that sort of money across a market stand? They don't have a reservation about that?
Absolutely. People like to buy something that's unique. Nobody else is going to be wearing it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. I also noticed that the name of your store is Katerina and Friends.
Yes.
So you work with other people. Do they all do jewellery, or do they do other products?
We have one lady who makes pottery as well, but she's also a jeweller, so we are all jewellers.
Okay.
So I put together this cooperative of jewellers because it's more fun doing it as a group anyway, but we all have other jobs. Jewellery is my main thing that I do, but I'm also a painter.
Okay. And if you had one Christmas wish for your business, for Katerina and Friends this Christmas, what would it be?
Oh, some nice juicy commissions.
Well, we wish you some lovely juicy commissions for 2013. Thank you very much, Katrina.
A pleasure. Thank you.
And there she was. She sounds a very interesting lady.
Oh, yeah, no, it was really interesting. And the jewellery was absolutely beautiful, really different, really unusual, mix of gold, silver, precious gems, including diamonds, one of my few favourites, of course. But I really wish her a lot of success. It was a really nice concept, pulling together different jewellers, and I don't see there's any reason why it can't succeed if she can find the right sorts of clients, because with particularly I know myself that if you commission a piece and then other people see it, the word spreads quite quickly, and you don't need a lot of big commissions in that particular area of business to have a nice successful business. So yes. Good luck to them.
Yeah, and where was it exactly on the market?
It was right at the top end, actually. So hers was one of the first stands, which helps, I would guess, in the market scene. Opposite, sort of, I don't know, where would it be? Sort of Tesco's.
Okay, right. Okay, and after the next break, we'll come back. We'll come back with a few more Christmas clips and.
Radio Verulam Community Partners.
What's this feedback? It's feedback.
People living with cancer or life-threatening illness can often feel isolated, confused and alone. Grove House in Waverley Road, St Albans leads the way in offering free specialist care and support to patients and their families affected by cancer and life-threatening illness in St Albans, Harpenden and Dacorum. To find out more about their services, or how you can become a volunteer, or make a regular donation, or leave a gift in your will, phone 01727 731 000 or visit grove-house.org.uk.
For more on Radio Verulam Community Partners, go to radioverulam.com/community partners.
Radio Verulam Community Partners.
The Abbey Line connects St Albans Abbey train station at the bottom of Holywell Hill with Watford Junction and was one of the UK's first official community railways.
The community rail concept was designed to help create a more sustainable future, to reduce the cost of running the line without compromising safety or service, and to involve local people more closely in the development of their railway.
For 150 years, the Abbey Line has been taking people between St Albans and the centre of Watford and beyond.
It continues to do this, and all for at most £6.60 return, and in only 16 minutes.
For more information, visit their website, which is abbeyline.org.uk.
For more on Radio Verulam Community Partners, go to radioverulam.com/community partners.
You're listening to The Business on Radio Verulam. We're the voice of the local business community on 92.6 FM and on radioverulam.com.
And welcome back to The Business, our special Christmas edition, looking back at some of our best bits and playing some sort of festive interventions from things we've picked up around the market and elsewhere during the last week. Vicky, we had the great pleasure of having a gentleman in earlier in the series by the name of Nick Kitchener.
Yeah, Nick came in. Nick's the managing director of a company called RSC Europe, which is Resource Solutions Europe. And Nick and his partner and wife, Karen, actually set up a really, really interesting business a good few years ago. And what was quite different about the way that they operated was that they came from a sales team background, sales negotiation team background in the telecoms business. And they were very high up in that arena and found it incredibly difficult to get the right people to join teams. So when they moved out of that, they went and worked in France and lived in France and actually still own a vineyard over there, actually. But they thought, well, why don't we actually look into the recruitment business, because it was so appalling in that particular field. So using their network, they set up Resource Solutions Europe, and particularly in the telecoms and e-commerce arenas. And based in St Albans now, based in Hertfordshire now, they operate internationally a recruitment arena in a couple of specialist areas. So it just sort of shows that you can actually use your own expertise and spread quite rapidly if you use your own networks. Very interesting business.
And Roma, there's all sorts of businesses that are looking for information and advice on whether they're actually located overseas or exporting overseas for information, advice, and all sorts of things to do with exporting. And there's quite a lot of help out there, isn't there?
Yeah, we actually, at the same time as we had Nick, we had John Christopher from the Enterprise Europe Network, and we also spoke to Martin Kiepfer of the UK Trade and Investment. And in both cases, it was interesting to hear how much support effectively that's free is available to small businesses, and from the smallest one-man band that wants to export their particular service or product to the larger organisation. Yep. So it was very interesting.
Okay, right, we'll have a little clip of not the full interview with Nick Kitchener, but we'll play part of it, and hopefully if I click this button, he will come on air.
So here we are. I've got Nick Kitchener, the joint MD of Resource Solutions Europe, here with me in the studio for our business guest slot. Nick flits between Hertfordshire, France, Germany, and also increasingly the Middle East, I think, specialising in specific recruitment projects, particularly, as I understand it, within the telecoms, mobile technology, e-commerce and online areas. Is that right, Nick?
That is absolutely right. And if anyone knows who to use for cheap travel, then I'm very keen to find out. With a small business, it is all about managing your budget.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, recruitment. My first question has to be along the lines of, there are reportedly so many people out of work. There must be so many people on the market that are looking for work. Why do companies need to use recruitment companies?
I think for too long, recruitment companies, and some of this is down to themselves, can be regarded a bit like some estate agents. They don't add value. And there are very few people who say, my accountant doesn't add value and my IT manager doesn't add value. And what we do in recruitment, when it is done professionally, is we find the right people quickly. And if you can put an advert in the paper, you can advertise on the web, but if you, as we do, when we are searching for somebody, get 300 or 400 CVs, to actually go through those, talk to the relevant candidates, propose a list to you of the right candidates, so that you interview in our metrics really are that we try and present people with 8 qualified CVs. When we say qualified, we think they're relevant for the job, they have cultural fit, They understand what the position is. If you were to offer them position, they would probably take it. And of those 8 people submitted, we generally get 4 people through to first interview. And from those 4 people, we generally get 2 people down to final interview, and that generally results in a position. So it's about saving time, because one of the things that we learnt in our business when we were starting out is you do need expertise. You can't do it all yourself. And for example, we use you, Vicky, for our marketing. You help us out on various campaigns. We pay for the service, you deliver the service. We don't need a full-time marketing person, but we need somebody that we can talk to. And recruitment is a service that you can pick up when you need the right person at the right time. Do you want to stop your business and spend 2 weeks interviewing 100 people that aren't suitable? We don't just send you a batch of CVs, we send you fully qualified candidates.
And how can you possibly know a company as well as they know themselves? You talked about culture within a company, ethos, fit. How do you get under the skin of a company to know who those right candidates are?
The way we do it is we get to know the people in the business. Every business has a personality. Every business has a style. And if you get into the offices of these businesses, you can see what's going on. There are so many signs around an office which suggest what the culture is like. You talk to a few of the people in senior positions, and lots of people don't realise that they imprint their personality on a business. I mean, big example of this was Steve Jobs with Apple. Apple was Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs was Apple. And their trick going on is to continue with that snazzy marketing, we all want one attitude. So we try and understand the personalities of people, how they like to work. And once you get to know the principal actors in a business, you can look for people who they would actually get on with. It's not about just a personality thing. Can they be good mates? It's about, will this person work in this business?
It's like sort of pieces of a jigsaw, that sort of thing.
It is.
Right. So, you talk about adding value, and everything you've said makes absolute sense, but how on earth do you get that sort of concept across to a new client? How long did it take you to get established as a recruitment company, particularly, across Europe, which, different languages, different cultures, sounds quite difficult.
It is difficult, and anybody who tells you that you can just start a business and make money from day one is unbelievably lucky. It's about graft, and it is picking up the phone, talking to people when you really don't want to. You've had a lousy conversation. You have to just shut yourself down, start again. And the more you try, the more you succeed. And the thing that I've learned from my sales background in the past is when you land that big deal, you don't stop and go yahoo and celebrate. You actually use that confidence and that passion and project that into your dealings with your customers.
Pick the next phone up and let the energy sort of go to the next client.
Pick the trickiest customer you've ever dealt with and think, this time I'll get you.
And is operating in Europe very different from operating in the UK?
In terms of how we run the business, it's very similar, but the styles of the way that people interact with us is very different. For example, for the clients that we've dealt with, or the candidates that we've dealt with in Germany, if you ask them for their CV, they will send you a letter applying for the job. The CVs look very similar. They always have a very serious photo of themselves. They will quite often have copies of their academic qualifications. And they will ask you what the job is now, what it's going to be in 3 years' time, and what it's going to be in 5 years' time. They are very, very detail conscious. The French, the CVs are interesting at times. Sometimes there will be 5 or 6 pages or with not much content, sometimes a very tight couple of pages. But they will tend to go and see at a job. And for us, that's quite frustrating because we want people that are passionate about joining a business. So if they're offered the next stage, they don't have to think about it. They think it's either right for me or there's a very good reason why not. But they are very much...
Well, he disappeared a bit suddenly there, but That's my brilliant editing skills. We're all learning here, folks. But he was a very interesting man, wasn't he? I mean, what did we learn from our friend Nick Kitchener?
Well, I mean, a lot, I think, from my perspective. I think this concept of, maintaining communication, developing relationships, and anticipating that it is going to be a long, hard slog. But you've got to keep that process going. You've got to keep returning and building on relationships. Because particularly in that sort of line of business, the chances of somebody saying, oh, yeah, we do need a managing director this week, just at the point at which you contact them by phone or email or letter, is extremely unlikely. So you've got to keep that channel of communication going, and that's hard work. But hard work will pay off. And, I don't think there's any doubt in any of our minds. Anybody that's set up their own business knows that it's all about the graft and not about... And the more that you graft, the more lucky you get. I think it's very true.
Mm. Yeah, he was interesting to me because I used to be in recruitment, so from my perspective it was interesting to hear him talk about recruitment, but from a European perspective as well, taking your business into another business culture. I think that's very interesting. Yeah. We've talked about globalising your business on a previous show, so yeah, there was some good messages there.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was great. It was just listening to him. You sounded like a man who sort of really... You had a certain sort of authority, quite quietly spoken in what he was saying, but everything he said there was no wasted words there, was there? I mean, it was really good. We should really go back to the market, I think.
Had a bit more Christmas flavour to this Christmas show.
Absolutely, yes.
Hang on, I'll just jangle my bell.
You couldn't hear this, Vicky, but whilst you were talking, I just did a little bit of Jingle Bells on in the background.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Did you hear that coming through yours?
No.
Oh, right, okay. And so next time we'll all have our headphones on and enjoy a bit of that. So I've been feeding little bits of Christmas in as we've been talking. But the man with the sausages. Tell me about, so to speak. Tell me about the man with the sausages.
Well, I like to live dangerously, so I went very, very quickly on the market from the very high-end jeweller to the not so high-end sausage man.
It was a very low-end sausage man.
But he'd got gorgeous sausages. Am I allowed to say that on air?
You just have.
And samphire, which I absolutely love. And it was what caught my eye, apart from his sausages, of course, was that he'd got a sign saying, I think it was Gary Rhodes, thought they're the best... He'd got the best sausages in the land, or pies, or whatever. Anyway, so I started having a chat with him, and it's so wonderful when you talk to people that are passionate about what they do. He knew the sausages. Name of every pig that he was about to slaughter, and it was even lovely when halfway through the interview we were suddenly cut off because we had a lady that was really, really wanting to find out about what was in what and what the best of the pies were. And all of this sort of stuff, just not there just to buy any old mince pie or any old sort of pork pie, but to really question the seller about where they came from and was very selective, and that was exactly what he'd been saying to me. So
Vicky,
it's really interesting.
I've got a major apology to make to you then, because I cut that little bit out of the interview.
Oh no!
So we're not going to hear that bit, but you have to imagine that halfway through the interview, I mean, important though Vicky was as a sort of interviewer, he did actually he disappeared for about a minute, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
if I'd have been a more robust radio person, I'm sure I would have filled it with some sort of banter,
some sort of ad-libbing or describing what he was doing with the customer.
Sadly, I wasn't that efficient.
Okay, so we're going to listen to the gentleman from Samphire Sausages talking about his passion.
So I'm now on the market with what looks to be some fabulous sausages and pies and sausage rolls from a company called Samphire. So tell us more about it. I see that Gary Rhodes recommends your sausages.
Well, we're a small farm. We were small holding. We've only got 7 acres. It's run by me and my wife. And we have got recommendation from Gary Rhodes and also Giles Corran for our pork pies.
Oh, very nice. And how did they come to taste your pork pies and sausages?
Our sausages was... we entered a competition for UK TV food and it was to find out the best local food, and we came second in East Anglia, and Gary Rhodes, when he ate them, said it was the best tester he ever tasted.
Fantastic, that's absolutely brilliant.
And Giles Corrin, we used to have a shop at Blittling Hall in Norfolk, and he came in unannounced, we didn't know who he was. He came in and bought a pork pie, thought it was brilliant, and wrote a big review on it. Fantastic. Interviewed us, and gave us 10 out of 10, which he doesn't usually
fantastic.
do.
And I've just seen a lady coming along and buying quite a lot of products there. Are you finding that people are much more interested in buying sort of homegrown, homemade, local produce than?
I think they are. They like to know where it comes from. They like to know the history of the food, and if you can tell them as much as you can about it. And of course, we know everything about our stuff because it's all homemade and it's all home produced. So we're quite easy to tell them. We can even name the pigs if they want them.
So if people wanted to get hold of you, have you got a website?
I have, yeah. It's sanfishop.co.uk.
Fantastic. And if you had a Christmas wish for your business for 2013, what would it be?
Dry weather.
Dry weather. Thank you ever so much. Have a great Christmas.
Bye-bye.
I absolutely love that. Dry weather.
And he names the pigs.
I know. I'm not sure I'd want to name something that I was about to kill. I don't want to get all moral here, but wasn't he passionate? He was.
He was fabulous. He was just, you just felt that there was a little bit of him in every of the sausages. I hope.
Well, I hope not.
I hope not. He did have 5 fingers on each hand, I think, but you know what I mean. It's just
great. He would have given his right arm if he could. No.
That's what you saw. That's what I saw across, lots of the stands that I talked to. People are really passionate about what they were doing, whether it's jewellery, whether it was pottery, whether it was sausages. People are really passionate on markets, and that's what makes them such exciting places to be. And I think it goes like that in business. If you're passionate about what you do, then you can much more easily sell whatever it is, whether it's a service, whether it's a product. If you're really passionate, then people, customers, your passion rubs off, and customers, get enthused because you're enthusiastic, and it's so much more refreshing than somebody talking about recession and how difficult business is. To be frank.
Well, exactly, and we've had a lot of folk talking about how bad the recession has been, how it's kind of scarred their business, but also a lot of hope, I think, over the year about how recovery is either on the way or people are just adjusting to a new reality. I mean, do you feel, Roma, there was quite a lot of hope in the air when we've been talking to people this year?
There's a lot of success stories out there, still a lot of success stories. The fact that we've been getting tweets from people who are saying, yes, I'd love to come on and talk about how well we're doing, I think says it all. I think as a region, we're very successful, and there are a lot of businesses doing very well, and the figures that are coming out at the moment and various reports bear that up. So, I think it's all good news, as well as the sad news that we tend to get from the main media.
Absolutely, and we should point out that even though you may be hearing this show on the just before Christmas, or you may be hearing it just after, and that we won't reply to your tweets because we're pre-recording on this show because we're waiting for Santa, or just enjoying what it is that Santa has brought us.
Yes.
We still love to get your tweets, don't we? And
we do.
And do we know what the Twitter address is?
It's
I sound like a schoolmaster there, don't we?
Oh, you do. Do we know?
Do we know what the Twitter address is?
It's at RV the Business.
That's right. And Vicky, the email?
thebusiness@radioverulam.com.
It is indeed. And also, let's not forget, as Roma always reminds me, that there's a studio number as well, which is 01727 839 926. 926, yeah. See, it's 92.6 FM. We're going to just play a few messages now, and then we'll be right back.
Join Simon Carver on Fridays from 6:30 p.m. for The Film Guide. We look at the UK cinema box office top 10, a selection of the new cinema releases and the best of the week's films on free-to-air TV. That's Fridays from 6:30 p.m. on West Hart's Drive Time with Danny Smith, exclusively on Radio Verulam 92.6 FM.
Radio Verulam Community Partners.
St Albans Symphony Orchestra has been giving concerts for over 75 years, delivering top-quality live music in an affordable and accessible way. They play the greatest classical works as well as popular light music with all the excitement of a full-scale symphony orchestra. They also subsidise every child's ticket. It costs only £1 for a child to attend any of the concerts. To learn more, visit their website saso.org.uk.
For more on Radio Verulam Community Partners, go to radioverulam.com/community partners.
You're listening to The Business on Radio Verulam. We're the voice of the local business community on 92.6 FM and on radioverulam.com.
Yes, welcome back to The Business, our special Christmassy edition with appropriate amounts of tinsel and bells and so on.
Sadly, not enough champagne in the studio.
Unfortunately not. But we can make amends after the show, perhaps, and go out and sort of hit the bottle. A very happy Christmas to all our listeners, wherever you are, because we do know that people do listen from far away via the interweb thingy on www.radioverulam.com. So what do you think about networking events, guys? I mean, I went to the Hearts Business Expo earlier on this autumn. No, actually, sort of mid-autumn or so. And but do you get much out of networking events? I mean, it's a lot of things that some people say they don't really get time for the sort of physical networking side of things.
That networking is a great one. I think it depends on how you define it. To some people, it's going to events, going to breakfast clubs, going to lunches. It may just be picking up the phone and saying, let's meet for coffee. Either way, I think having that external contact, as Vicky started saying earlier, is really important. It's a way of getting to know what the market's doing and whether or not there is a place for your product or service and whether or not it needs tweaking. So,
well, that's right. I mean, Vicky, every time I go to a networking event, I talk to someone who says, "Do you know Vicky Scott?" and it seems impossible. It seems like you know everybody, Vicky. So you must have been out networking. So for those who are a little bit shy of going out there and shaking hands and so on, what would you say to those folks?
I think you've just got to get out there. I very, very much believe, particularly in this very small to medium-sized arena, if you're not out there sort of pressing the flesh, if you're not out there talking to people, then it's very difficult to get your brand established. And it doesn't really matter how shy you are. It doesn't work. It doesn't always work dancing on tables. People get quite fed up with the dancing on tables.
Have you tried that as well?
Oh, I've tried every type of networking. But you don't have to be that type of networker. I think the most important thing about networking is to be yourself, because there's no point in trying to be something that you're not. If you've got confidence in your product, we talked a bit earlier about it, about enthusiasm for your product, then that will come through. The mistake that a lot of people make when they're going networking is they believe it's a quick fix. They believe it's about walking into a room and selling their product, and it's absolutely not.
No.
It's about walking into a room and making relationships. And developing friendships and developing trust and understanding about other people's products as well as your own. And what you'll find over time is that people will then start coming back and they'll come out of the woodwork. They'll be friends of friends. They might not be the people that you initially spoke to, but your brand will be out there, your name will be out there, you'll be out there, and you're your best advocate without a shadow of a doubt. But don't expect it to work quickly. Don't expect to walk into a room and sell it and everybody buy it, because that isn't how it works. But believe me, if you stick at it and you make connections and you listen more than you're talking, then it will work. I don't know if anybody ever says to me networking doesn't work for them, all I can say is that they're not doing it well, they're not doing it properly, they're not sticking at it, because it works for every single business. It doesn't matter whether you're a top barrister or whether you're somebody that knits tea cozies. Networking can work. And I cite actually the woman that knits tea cozies. Don't ever underestimate the nature of the person that's sort of sat next to you at those events.
Yes.
You have got no idea who they know, where they live, who their married to, or any of those sorts of things. So just because you sort of look at what they're doing and think, blimey, well, they're not going to be any use to me, just don't underestimate the network that they have, because you will be wrong.
I totally agree with that. I once, when I was working in another business, picked up the phone and was speaking to somebody who seemed like the most unpromising possible business lead imaginable. Just sort of rambled on, didn't appear to have any idea of what they wanted, didn't appear on the face of it, let's be mercenary about it for a second, to have any budget at all in what they're doing. It wasn't the first question I asked them, but I was asking them about themselves and so on. But as time went by and we're having a conversation, I just thought there might be something in this, and I passed it on to a colleague who was working in the area that this gentleman was working in. It turned out that we actually got a lead which resulted in several £100,000 worth of business. Always answer the call if you're on the call, or in the network, take time to actually find out about people. Anyway, I think we could maybe come back to this a little bit more, because it's a bit of a hobby horse of mine as well. I went to the Hearts Business Expo anyway in the middle of November, and met lots of really interesting people. But I just asked them a very basic question. Really, I just asked them, why are you here? What are you actually here to do, and what are you getting out of this event? And this is what they said.
I'm David Porter. I'm from Knight Property Management. We are chartered surveyors based in Hertford, and we help busy landlords manage their rental properties. We're here today at the Hearts Business Expo, and we're hoping to meet new businesses, make new contacts, and meet new friends.
I've just realised while I'm talking to you that I think I follow you on Twitter, or at least our show does on Twitter. I mean, do you find Twitter a good source of leads and new business for yourself?
Yes, we do actually. It's strange, but I mean, we've been on there quite a long time, and it's only in the last few months that we've actually started to get some really good leads from it. But we are finding it's really useful, not just to make new leads, but also to develop other new business connections.
Hello, I'm Jan Hunter from Business Buzz, and we're about to start a Hertford Business Buzz.
It sounds fantastic. As for events such as this one at the SME Expo, what is it you're hoping to get out of today?
Well, it's bringing awareness of Business Buzz, really. There's a lot of people in each of the individual towns where they're running at the moment who know about it, but it's people just outside.
Steve McGarry, I represent a company called Team Factors, who are based in Kings Langley. We're an independent funder. We provide something that every business needs, money. I'm hoping to meet like-minded people, raise our profile as a business, and hopefully secure a few deals off the back end of it.
And how have you found it so far today?
Very interesting. We've had an eclectic mix of people come and talk to us, and I enjoy speaking to them about a varied range of products and a varied range of solutions that we can deliver. So generally very good, yeah.
So Mark Morris, general insurance brokers from Moffat Saunders based in Hertford. Today we're looking to meet potential new customers and even just advise people on their insurances, even if they don't want to come to ourselves. We're giving free advice as well on the day. So.
What do you generally find that there's good value in sort of face-to-face networking? I mean, do you do other kind of networking, such as sort of social media and so on?
We don't do social media networking, but I'm a member of two networking groups that I attend on a Wednesday and a Friday afternoon, and I find that business face-to-face is a lot easier to generate than cold calling over the phone.
Yeah. Okay, my name's Paul Davies. The company I represent is The Creative Place, and today really is all about, I guess, networking and meeting small, medium-sized businesses, establishing some relationships, and just seeing if there's any scope to work with these companies in the future.
Today is going really, really well. We're really pleased with the venue. They've been fantastic with us. All the stand holders are really enjoying themselves, and there's a lot of visitors. So yeah, we're really pleased.
A lot of people talk about how they struggle to get time to come out to network at exhibitions and conferences. What would you say in terms of good reasons why you should sort of make the effort to get off your backside and come to an exhibition such as this?
I think you should definitely make the effort to come to exhibitions. I think you can meet so many different people, get some ideas for your own business, and get help and support as well. People that are exhibiting today are looking to engage with people, so if you're starting out, you can gain a lot of knowledge from the exhibitors.
And that was the Hearts Business Expo in all its glory. I had a jolly good time up there in the middle of November. Just picking up on something you said, Vicky, to do with long-term networking. I mean, if you're out of a job, for example, a lot of people go and network in terms of, and they're thinking, I need to go and get a job. It's inevitable they'll feel I need to get, and they want the thing they want to get in these straitened times is a job. So, but are you saying then that people need to have they need to be networking when the going's good for when the going's not so good?
Well, I think, like all marketing, it's not an event; it's a process. And what you've got to do is you've got to continuously market yourself and your business through a whole heap of different channels. One of them's networking. You've got all your social networking. You've got your straightforward traditional marketing routes, and they all come together to make a marketing plan. And that plan has to be continuous, and it has to be continuous through the peaks and troughs if you are to maintain that sort of ability to keep business. What happens when people get busy is they stop marketing, they stop going out there, and then they wonder why they then fall into a trough. Why is everybody laughing? You're thinking about the pigs and troughs, are you?
Because we're playing away in a manger in the background.
Oh, and I can't hear it because you've stolen all the earphones.
But it sounds wonderful. I mean, it's just like this.
And I'm trying to be serious here on this very important business
show. Little Britain.
But it was a real voice of authority, and there was a calming music going on in the background. I'll just fade it down again now. And anyway, it's fun and games. Anyway, so it was all very good. I mean, I felt that, as you said, that it's a bit of a long burn, in terms of.
Well, it depends on your business. I mean, if you're a florist, you can get business right off, and you might be lucky. But don't assume that you're going to walk in and get a piece of business. Assume that what you've got to do is develop relationships. You've got to know people. You've got to like them. You've got to trust. There's no like and trust is very, very important.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very good way of developing the networks that will bring you the business in possibly the short, but always the long term.
Yeah. I mean, talking of networking, I thought that it was great also to have Philippa Bell in the studio, and Isabel Maritz, both of them sort of very good on the networking side of things. All part of our discussion panel, and which is your sort of section of the show, Roma. I mean, any sort of particular memories from the discussions at all?
Well, we had quite a detailed conversation about networking, and in fact, we also talked quite a great deal at length.
Don't worry, that's not going on the next clip, Item, I promise.
You're going to have to get some new teeth.
I will, won't I? About women on boards, sitting on boards, and this new suggested European directive to put 40% of a board as female. But yes, they had quite a lot to say about networking. One thing I'd like to add to the discussion so far is that I think it's really important to have a strategy to think about not just what you should be doing, but what's appropriate for your business as far as networking is concerned, and having that blend of choices is really important. But certainly, we had very interesting discussion between Philippa and Isabel, and I think you've got a clip.
I have got a clip. We'll see how much of it we can put in. It's a shortened version of one of the two questions, but let's see what the computer throws up.
Okay, so we're back with our second question today, or second story. We're looking as our second story at the issue of national numeracy, workforce numeracy. There's a new initiative, again driven and supported by government. A charitable organisation called National Numeracy have been set up, who are there to encourage employers to help employees boost their maths skills. Government figures from a recent survey showed that more than 8 million adults had only the skills expected of 7 to 9-year-olds or younger. Bit horrific. The scheme aims to bring their skills up to at least that of a 14-year-old. Isabel, your thoughts?
Well, I'm not at all sure that this is a new thing, because I remember going for one of my first jobs, and it was with a huge insurance company in London, in the city. And the chap immediately said, you've got the job. You're the only person who's been able to work out the percentages that I've set. So, and he said, I've interviewed quite a few people. So maybe it's not so new, but certainly I think that working on my own children, learning long multiplication and long division would give them a huge basis of understanding just numbers, just those two things.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to teach it in the same way or as diligently as they used to. So I think that would make a big contribution, and it would boost their maths age, maybe.
Philippa?
I agree, and I think it boosts confidence as well, because I think, certainly, people that I've worked with that have struggled with numeracy, just teaching somebody how to work out a percentage, so that you can work out the VAT on an invoice, for instance, it does give them a boost. It does improve their own feelings of abilities to do the job. I think it's very important. Numeracy and literacy. I cringe particularly about literacy in the business world at the moment.
Mm-hmm. But the average age skill of someone 7 to 9 years old or younger.
Absolutely frightening.
What does that say about our education system?
Maybe the fact that they're going to be relying on calculators.
Wow.
And the teachers think perhaps, well, they'll have to use a calculator. I don't think the teachers would think that, but it might have something to do with it. I know.
And there she, and that's the discussion went on and on. It was a very interesting discussion. It's not quite the discussion that we said it was going to.
No, that was later. I realised.
Yes, sorry about that. I think I edited the wrong clip there, but
that's okay.
But c'est la vie. We should probably go back to the market again. I think in the last sort of few minutes of the show, you saw some tea people. I understand, Vicky.
Yes, a chap who's terribly reticent about talking because he's got a really bad cold, but managed to persuade him in my inimitable style. But he's very interesting. He's a big traveller, and a bit like those innocent boys, had just got absolutely passionate about tea, started blending his own and started importing, and was now starting to sell. The company is called Simplicity, and he was very, very interesting. And I was talking a little while ago to some people who are very involved in Costa Coffee, who were doing a huge amount of research into whether tea might be the next big thing.
Should we have a little? Yeah, should we have a little clip?
Yeah.
And let's have a little listen to what the Simplicity tea people said.
Hello, I'm with a nice gentleman who's got a terrible cold, but he said he's going to be happy to be interviewed. He's got some speciality teas here on the market this morning. So, are speciality teas selling well this Christmas?
Yeah, they're very popular actually, yeah.
Excellent. And what makes people want to buy a speciality tea?
I think it's they make very good gifts. There's so many different flavours that people haven't had a chance to try yet. It's very up and coming. Yeah. And people like to...
So is tea the next big thing, since there's been, coffee's sort of on every corner, on every place you look, there's a coffee shop. Is tea going to be the next big thing?
It is, yeah. Coffee's had an amazing time for the last 20 years. It's been very trendy. But tea has really made a massive comeback. It's incredibly popular. It's a massively growing area. And we've got some incredible flavours and blends here.
Fantastic. How did you get into tea?
My business partner and I, who've been friends for a very long time, have both sort of experienced tea all over the world. We both travelled a lot. I've spent a lot of time in India, and we've had this love of trying to bring all these different flavours and traditions into the UK tea market.
That's fantastic.
So we started a couple of years ago. We're called Simplicity.
What's the name? You're called Simplicity?
Simplicity, yeah. Simplicity.
And do you have a website?
Yeah, we are at simplicity.co.uk.
Brilliant.
That's Simplicity with a TEA on the end.
Ah, right, clever.
And we've sort of started a couple of years ago, and it's been going from strength to strength.
And if you could have a Christmas wish for Simplicity, what would it be?
You got me. I guess obviously that more and more people get to enjoy some
Lovely to meet
new
you.
teas and to try some new flavours.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. Bye.
I fancy a nice cup of tea myself now. Actually, sadly, we don't have that much time left. So I'm going to sort of start introducing sort of the idea of Christmas wishes for 2013. And as an example, we're going to introduce you to Clare McAnulty from Compact Video to give you an example.
The Christmas present that I would like for my business is to find a backbone client. So, in other words, a client that I can depend on getting work from, even if it's only a small amount throughout the year, because that would then allow me to relax a little bit about getting other work.
So a nice big contractual client for Clare McAnulty of Compact Video for 2013. Well, we wish you every luck with that client. Thank you, Clare.
That's an example of a wish for 2013. Roma, have you got any sort of hankerings for 2013?
Just more positive news,
Yes.
more interesting business. Get people's names right on the shirt. No bloopers. Those are the key ones.
Right, and Vicky?
Well, I think I'm going to do a Christmas wish for the business show.
Ooh, nice.
And that is, if you're out there and I've got a business and you're interested in working with us and sponsoring the business, then we'd be delighted to talk to you. It would be great to have some business sponsors and some business advertisers. So that would be my Christmas wish, that for 2013 we'll find some nice businesses to help us develop the business show.
Well, that's fantastic. Mine is to get the banks lending. I think I would like to see lots of well-meaning. There's lots of well-meaning schemes out there that just aren't really kind of reaching their desired target, and I would just like to see some magic wand or something like that, which actually got the money to where it actually deserves, rather than lining the pockets of you know who over at the banks. And but I think that 2013 is going to be a good year. So we'll just end on another happy note there, and we'll play you out by telling you who we are and a bit more of our theme music. Thank you, and hope you've enjoyed 2012 and look forward to 2013.
You've been listening to The Business on Radio Verulam. If there's anything in the show you want to talk to us about, phone us on 01727 839 926 or email thebusiness@radioverulam.com.